Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I never understood how heavy silence could feel until the day I walked out for good. 7 years together vanished in a single breath, and strangely, I felt more peace than pain. Sarah and I had met back in college. She studied psychology, always observing, always peeling back layers in people like she was solving a puzzle. That intensity pulled me in. She had this way of looking at me that made me feel like the world narrowed down to just the two of us. We built a life so carefully it seemed unbreakable. After school, we moved in, got engaged, and eventually married in a small ceremony with only our families around us. 5 years into the marriage, everything felt steady. Routines, plans, dreams of a future home, thoughts of children someday. She opened her own therapy practice. I climbed the ladder in a tech company's marketing department. Life felt simple and safe. I trusted her without hesitation. The shift started so subtly I almost missed it. She said her growing client list demanded late nights. Then weekends. Then calls at strange hours. I never doubted her. In fact, I admired how dedicated she was to her work. But soon the weekend trips started. Conferences, seminars, retreats. She came home describing new methods she'd learned, new ideas she wanted to try with her clients. But the spark in her voice dimmed, and the details grew blurry, like she was reading from a script she barely remembered. One evening, she forgot her phone outside the bathroom while she showered. It buzzed. Without a second thought, I glanced at the screen, and the ground shifted under me. A name I didn't recognize. A message that froze me. Can't wait for this weekend. Room 314 again. That one line dismantled everything I believed about my life. Room 314 again. How many times had I been lied to while smiling, trusting, supporting? I didn't confront her. I didn't demand truth. Instead, I went cold inside, calm, focused. I quietly started planning my escape like I was preparing for a long trip. A new bank account. A small apartment across the city. Slowly moving my belongings when she wasn't around. The betrayal hurt, but what actually broke me was realizing how long I had been living inside a story that wasn't real. On a Tuesday morning while she was at the gym, I packed the last of my things. I set my ring on the kitchen counter. I wrote a note with only a few lines. I know about room 314. Do not contact me. And then I left. The apartment I moved into was tiny and empty, but it felt clean, untouched by lies. I bought only the essentials. A mattress, a cheap chair, a coffee maker. No reminders. No memories. I blocked her everywhere. Changed my number. Disappeared from the life we once shared. Months passed in quiet. No frantic messages. No friends acting confused. Nothing. Sometimes I wondered if my absence made life easier for her. If she was relieved that the deception no longer needed to be maintained. I threw myself into work, took up running again, read books that had gathered dust for years. Slowly, I remembered who I used to be, someone who existed long before Sarah. 18 months later, she appeared out of nowhere. I had just finished work and was heading to my car when I noticed her standing by a parking meter. She looked worn down, like life had scraped pieces off her. When her eyes met mine, I saw regret etched deep. "I need to speak with you," she said, voice trembling. I stopped walking but didn't go closer. "There's nothing left to say. Please." Her voice cracked. "It ended with him months ago. I made the worst decision of my life. I need you to know that." I looked at her, the woman I once thought would be my partner forever, and all I felt was a faint, distant sadness. "You didn't slip up, Sarah," I said. "You chose him. You chose lies. Not once, repeatedly. And now you have to live with the outcome." Tears gathered in her eyes. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I loved you. I still do." "No," I replied calmly. "You loved the comfort I gave you. You loved knowing I wouldn't question you. But you didn't love me enough to be honest." I got into my car, closed the door, and watched her shrink away in my rearview mirror as I drove off. And for the first time since everything fell apart, I felt something settle inside me. Not because she finally apologized, but because I finally understood that some endings don't need drama or shouting. Some doors are meant to stay shut. The man I became in those 18 months was someone stronger. Someone who refused to play second choice. Someone who knew that love without loyalty means nothing. I never saw her again. And that was exactly the ending I needed. Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers.